Hello, everyone, and welcome to WinCat Sports. Today is our Lions versus Broncos pregame. Surprisingly, Lions are favored. I didn't think they'd be favored by as much as they are. 60% chance to win the game. They're favored by 4 points, but there is a hot Broncos team coming into Detroit.
Yeah, I mean, this is a big game. It's a huge game. You can't really, like I said, this is playoff time. Maybe not win, maybe not lose and you're out, but it's still playoff kind of football right now, and everyone's playing it. We have an opportunity, I think, this week if we can pull off a win against Denver, because I think our adversaries in the North are going to have a tough time this week. Um, I don't share like a lot of people think the Green Bay's on the rise. I just think they've been on a good streak, but I think it's going to come to an end. And I think Minnesota's the same way. I think they've had their little, fun for a while, and I think they're going to start coming back down to earth. I think Bengals are going to beat them, Minnesota, and I think the Bucks are going to beat the Pack. And I think it's a good opportunity for us if that happens. Certainly, uh, to really put a stranglehold on this.
Yeah, you're at the point in the season where you have must-win games. You should have beat Chicago. That probably was a must-win with how your schedule looked. Now you lost to them, so you have to face Denver at home, and it is a must-win game. I don't think you can take this game and lose it and feel comfortable about the rest of the season, even though it's going to after this game you're going to be facing Minnesota twice in Dallas. You have to beat Denver to give yourself some little bit comfort going into the last 3 games.
Right. You put yourself in a position almost to where you almost have to beat Minnesota twice if they keep winning. Um, Hopefully, like I said, the Bengals will beat them on before we play on Saturday, and but even though you should have the mindset that you don't want to back into this, you want to go out. I'd like to go, like I said, 2 out of the next 4, win 2 out of the next 4, and I think that should do it. Certainly, they said that if we win, we're guaranteed. We get a playoff spot with the loss of either the Rams or
the Seahawks.
So we are in the playoffs regardless.
If you win and the Rams or Seahawks lose.
But I'm not, like I said, being just in the playoffs isn't enough anymore. You put yourself in a position where people really expect you to win this division. It's not good enough just to get into the playoffs. I want that home field advantage, at least for the first week. I think the fans have earned that here. And you need to give the fans something.
Yes. I don't know, though, if they are going to win this week. Russell Wilson has been playing actually pretty good this year. He's 254 of 378, 2,609 yards, 23 Ds to 8 interceptions. Goff is still on track to also having a good year. He's just higher in his interceptions than he has been. 21 TDs to 10 interceptions so far. And if he doesn't pick up his turnover problems, it is going to be a long game.
Right. How do we regain that early fire that we had at the beginning of the year? How do we gain that intensity at Ford Field? We should see a game, a fan base, hopefully like we did for the early games at Ford Field against Seattle and stuff. We should see that kind of atmosphere going in and be able to take advantage of it. The Lions have to, like I said, they've got to right the ship. Very hard to do. I mean, they are banged up, very banged up. Their offensive line is banged up. Their defensive line is banged up. But so is everybody else hurting in this league. This is the time of year we're all fighting injuries. So you got to find a way. I know, like I said, Goff is not the kind of quarterback you want back there when you need probably a little more mobility when your offensive line is hurting. But they got to find something. They got to find a way to win these, at least a couple of these games.
Yeah, when it comes down to injuries, you're hoping, right, we get some of the guys who we lost early in the year back. It seems like James Houston and CJ might be back before the end of the year. They might play that last game. They might. But when I'm looking at it, I'm trying to figure out injury wise who's injured right now, who's not. People Everybody who's on the injury report is a limited practice except for one person, and that is Hendon Hooker. He's actually was a full practice participant all this week, so he's getting into the groove of things, learning. He's not going to play. Any of you who think that he should come in for golf, he's not playing this year.
No, he's not playing this year.
He is just practicing and
That's
getting
just
used.
stupidity.
Everybody is just so upset about what's going on. I mean, he's not going to see any field action this year, as much as he
I'd love
might
to
hate
see,
golf.
I'd love to be in a position to give Teddy Bridgewater some action, just to give him some action, just to get him out there. I mean, but we're not in that position because we've messed up a lot of these games. If we were ahead and we had locked up the division, I would have loved to have seen Teddy Bridgewater get some action.
So the people who are injured as of the making this video, we made this video on Wednesday. So it's a little delayed from when you're going to get the injury report out. But people who are limited in practice today, Taylor Decker was limited with a back injury. Benito Jones with a neck injury, he probably sustained that when he was trying to run that blocked field goal back and got tackled. Frank Ragnow is still his knee, back, and toe. And Josh Reynolds is also limited in practice with a back injury. So you're a little banged up on that offensive line
Yeah.
still, which is why Jared Goff has somewhat struggled because he has not done good under pressure at all in the second half of the year. But we are not fully going to know what's going on until really uh, probably Friday, if not tomorrow on Thursday. So by the time this comes up, it might already be known who's playing and who's not. But it's still not going to be easy with how Denver's playing. Could you beat Denver? Yes. I am not that confident with how you've been playing that you are going to beat Denver, and you're probably going to make it a little bit difficult on yourself for the rest of the year. If I had to have a prediction, I'm actually going to go against the Lions for the second time I've done this year, and I'm saying Denver's going to win by a touchdown. I'll say like 28-21.
Um, yeah, I think we're all in the same boat here. I mean, if we're being objective and not being a fan, of course we want Detroit to win. But looking at the game, I kind of see I I'm looking at something like 31-17 Denver.
Listen, we are not confident in the Lions this week. I just with how they've been playing, I don't know if they'll get out of the slump. Maybe they'll show a little bit better uh gameplay this week, but I just don't see it. I don't see it this week, even though you're at home on prime time. I'm sure Ford Field will be very, very loud
Right.
and
It's
active,
the matchup
but
just seems bad. You have the master against the mentor and Sean Payton and Dan Campbell. You have a team that's been on a roll defensively and offensively against a team that's not been on a roll offensively and defensively. A lot of pressure on the Lions this week because all those good feelings that they generated through the first 10 games has kind of not gone away, but certainly been put on the back shelf. There are a lot of people nervous.
I feel like they're going to put the Lions are going to put themselves in a corner and have to beat the Vikings twice because no one's confident enough in them beating the Cowboys
I have not heard one
at all.
person say they think they can beat the
In
Cowboys.
fact, if you want to know the current,
That's even going to be
if you want to know the current win percentage of that game, the Cowboys have a 75% chance to win the game.
I would think people think it's even higher. I was surprised it wasn't like 90.
There's a
I
75% chance.
which in the old days that would bode well for Detroit because those are the type of games they would surprise everybody and win. So who knows?
So you are currently favored in both Minnesota games. So if you go by what's favored, you're going to win 3 out of your last 4.
The nice thing is if you could beat Denver and Minnesota the next 2 games, and that's a tall story. I mean, you're beating Minnesota at home and Denver, a very good team coming in. But if you could do that, you could relax against Dallas and just kind of throw the kitchen sink at them. Just have some fun, go out there without any expectations, and that's when you do your best usually. That's when the Lions when you don't think nothing of them, that's when they seem to, come up with a surprising game or something. So I'm not saying I mean, there's just nobody who thinks they're going to win that Dallas game that I've run
No,
across.
no, I would say at the moment we are not confident in the Dallas game unless Dak Prescott gets hurt, Tony Pollard blows out his knee, and they're facing like a full-on backup Dallas Cowboy team right at the
How
end of
is
the year. They're
so?
not doing anything.
So yeah, so these injuries are they expected to be back soon, or we just don't know yet?
The
Anybody
ones
supposed
this
to be
week,
back for this game? I didn't. I thought I saw
I think they
Ragnow
say
is not
Ragnow.
playing.
I thought I heard Ragnow was moving in a good direction. I haven't heard anything about
And is
if he
Decker
will.
hurt? Because
I
everyone
feel
is saying that Decker has been not playing up to his standards that
well
he
as I said, he had a back injury.
ran it back and he's
He
playing through it.
he's in limited practice. So whether or not it got aggravated or he's just being limited in practice to maybe not extend it because maybe they don't feel confident in their backup O line right
Well,
now.
who does?
Right now
Well, no, I
because
don't blame
looking
him for that. I'm just saying. So on top of the fact that we have actual injuries, we have guys fighting through injuries and still playing on that O line. It is a banged up squad, and
they're
uh,
doing the best they can to push through it.
maybe
And
we should start Teddy because he can run a little bit more, get mobile.
they're not starting Teddy. It's going to be it's going to be Jared Goff till the end of the year.
Go mobile.
They ain't
Go
going
mo-
mobile. They're not. Teddy will not see the field at all.
Well, maybe if Westerveld gets hurt, he will.
Oh yeah, obviously, but for the most part, and if you want to look at standings real quick, just before we're done with today, the Lions still hold a current 2-game lead because they lost to the Bears and the Vikings won 3-0 against the Raiders. Um, but again, if Minnesota loses this week, you win. You have a 3-game lead with 3 games left.
Right.
And then Minnesota is a clinching game, which is very possible. You could beat the Broncos. Again, my
So
prediction.
say the Vikings and Pack lose this week and we lose, we still keep that 2-man advantage. Is that Viking game a clincher?
Probably. I would
Okay.
say I think it's still a clinching game.
The 2 Viking games we have a real shot to win. We should win. But
Green Bay can't catch up to you now, I don't think. Especially if you win one more game, Green Bay's out. They're 6-7.
Right.
They're not going to win out, most likely, with how after losing to the Giants, it kind of brings you back down to earth with how you feel about them. The Packers aren't going to catch up to you. Vikings, obviously, they have a chance, but again, your confidence should be up again with them only beating the Raiders 3-0.
Right.
When you don't have an offense against the Las Vegas Raiders, where their defense maybe worries you a little bit because they shut them out,
Right.
but their offense sucked.
Yep.
And they had to bring in Nick Mullins to even get somewhat down the field because Joshua Dobbs couldn't play. And Mullins is starting this week against the Bengals. But I don't know, again, how well that's going to go. He hasn't played a while. He just got off an injury. So you have a chance to take a 3-game lead going into the final 3 games of the season and only having to win one of them, 2 of them against the team that's behind you. So you have an opportunity.
Yes,
And if they can clinch this opportunity and just make their way into the playoffs, you will be the number 3 seed. You are not going to be the number 2 seed in the NFC. Again, unless you get lucky and somehow everything falls apart. Because right now, are you still technically 1 game behind first place? Yes. Are you likely going to somehow get past Dallas and San Francisco? No. Now you do play Dallas, so maybe you do somehow randomly go into Dallas and you beat Dallas, and now you jump ahead of them. It is possible. I'm not going to say it's not possible, but
Well, anything's possible.
but
I think
is it likely? No.
Our confidence has been shaken, and it all. I think if we really need, but I don't know if it's possible to get healthy. I don't know.
At the moment, I'm telling you, you are guaranteed the 3rd spot in the NFC because you are not going to have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers
Unless we
catch
don't
up to
win the
you.
division, and then we'll probably be 6 or 7.
Well, yeah. If you don't win the division, you're going to fall to 6. Yeah, you are guaranteed at least the 6th spot facing the 3rd team in the. Basically, you're going to potentially face an NFC North team. At the moment, it is
No.
still Minnesota So three game
What are the chances the Rams get in and we play them?
they would have to win. They're currently sitting 8th behind Green Bay. Green Bay is your 7th wild card still at a 6-7
Who do the
record.
Rams play this week?
The Rams, LA Rams, are playing the Washington Commanders.
Ooh, they should win that game.
So it'd be 7-7.
Come on, Maddie!
The last 4 games for the Rams, if you really, really want a Matthew Stafford versus the Detroit Lions home playoff game, they face the Commanders, Saints, Giants, 49ers. So they could win 3 out of the last 4.
Oh, they certainly could win 3 out of the last 4.
They could be 9-8.
Yeah. They could do that. I could see them doing that really easy.
That's some people's worst nightmare too, is a Matthew Stafford
Matthew Stafford knocks us out of the playoffs.
in a whole playoff game. That would be terrible. But like I said, hopefully the Lions win. Push it a little bit at
I'm
ease.
wearing my number 9 jersey.
You don't have one, so it's
I'll
too
go
bad.
get one.
But with that being said, right, if you like what you see, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think about the game, and then share the video. But until next time, hope to see everybody soon.